was actually better than the original?
Last night, my wife and I went to our favorite place to see movies, Flick's Brewhouse. Their new nachos are so good. But we weren't just there for the food, we were there to see The Running Man. I am a fan of the original, but I think it's a product of the time, so I was really curious to see what a modern day version of that would look like. And I was ultimately pleased.
What'd you think of The Running Man?
I didn't even like the original, but I like this one.
She didn't even try to watch the original.
I did! The first half sucked!
No, you were on your phone. It's way different, dude. I don't know if it's faithful to the book, but for somebody who says they don't make them like they used to, that was an absolute blast. But it wasn't perfect.
This is an interesting one. I feel like as a whole, I had a full meal. But admittedly, I liked the first half more than the second half. I think there's a real struggle in the second half to balance a meaningful message, along with that 80s comedy. But it never goes full 80s. While this does feel like a late 80s or early 90s blockbuster action film, it utilizes modern aspects of filmmaking really well. Overall, it's very well-rounded. The ending was the biggest issue for me. It feels rushed. I've seen some people say it felt too long. I really think it could have used another 15 minutes, honestly. It ends on such a rushed moment that final emotional breath doesn't feel quite as satisfying as I hoped it would. But I think people are being too hard on this one. Social media critics specifically. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But when you look at what the original was, and how this one manages to give you enough to think about while also pleasing the general audience as a blockbuster, we don't get them as good as this very often. I think it stands on its own, and it's one of the better movies to come out this year. Maybe I'm just easy to please, or I understand that filmmaking is hard, and so I'm a little more forgiving. But I do understand that maybe some people were expecting more of Edgar Wright's signature sauce. There's just not very much of it there. But as a whole, I would definitely recommend this one. It is worth seeing on the big screen. And so I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. But let me know in the comments, what did you think? Maybe you feel the opposite. Maybe you like the original more. And I would be curious to hear from people who have read the book. How faithful is it? I don't know. There's surprisingly a lot to think about with this one. But if it looks like fun to you, you will probably have a good time.